From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hi, I'm Stephen Uden, and welcome to Around Foxborough. We have a wonderful little discussion here today about a very interesting artistic project here. And I have Jared Craig here, and Tiffany, you are here. And they're both heavy lifters on getting this project out, but there's a whole team I'm sure that they work with. So we're going to be discussing this very interesting thing that I think, if I'm correct, is going to fall at or around Founders Day.
Yes, that's correct, Steve. Yes.
So Tiffany, what can you give us like sort of a high overview of what it is and who can play and who can't and who can participate and that sort of thing?
Sure. Yes.
See if I can help you out with any questions.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Thank you for having me. Thank
Jared,
you.
good to see you.
Steven,
Take
good
care.
to see you.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I'm here to talk about the Foxborough Cultural Council's first ever public art walk event, which is called the Fox-to-the-Boro. And essentially it is an art event that will be featuring 5 statues of foxes that we will be placing around town. And as of now, we are looking for a call to art. So we're looking for artists, and we're also looking for sponsorships to help get this project going. Basically, there's going to be statues of foxes placed around town with a map for people to go and find these new creative pieces in our town. Okay,
and Jared, you're part of this project as well, right? How long has this been, well, I think you used the word incubating. Well, that's a good word. How long has this been been developed?
Yeah, sure. So I joined the Foxborough Cultural Council. I just served my 6th year, and you're only, per the state guidelines, only allowed to serve for 6 years to get some turnover. And so we had been talking for years about trying to do some kind of public art. And the news was making, the cow parade was making news. There were like the lobsters and the scallops, these public art pieces in all the different towns around the country and around Massachusetts. And with our town, it sort of feels to me like it's having a renaissance. There seems to be a lot of new energy injected into the town lately, and it sort of seemed like a right time for this kind of project to be here. We've got, from my point of view, I have a young family. Tiffany has a young family. We've got young families moving in, and it seems like we need like a staple, a trademark, a uniquely Foxborough thing besides the stadium, Patriot Place, all the conglomerate that is there. It'd be nice to have something to draw people uptown. And so we talked about festivals in the past, public art pieces and murals on walls. And we were saying that we need funding, we need a way to do all of these things. And this idea kept getting bandied about of statues, having them created by local artists, getting them painted by local artists. And it seemed like having this now and having it as a project where we're starting with 5, correct me if I'm wrong. As I said, I'm the former co-chair, so I've had to step down, but I'm very enthusiastic about this project, so I wanted to come in while Tiffany was here. And
well, thank you both for being part of this and taking leadership roles and active boots on the ground work, especially with busy families. My daughters are in college or out of college now, a little in their early 20s, so, but I've been there and wanting it. I think, in my opinion, what I really like is this fits very well with the other arts in our town. You know, we have it doesn't even need to be said how much music we have in this town, but there's also been, I think there's 2 theater companies, right, that are in town here now. We have a theater company over at the Vocational Technical School in Easton, where some of our Foxborough students go. And yeah, there's a lot of commercial stuff, but this fits right in with like the cancer walk, you know, the Relay for Life stuff. It's got a good, lovely undercurrent to it.
Exactly.
And you talked about the council. Could you both or one of you pick this question? Tell us a little more, for those who don't know, about the Foxborough Cultural group, because my next door neighbor, Panatanasoff, is, and I know part of that. Can you tell the folks?
Co-chair with her for a couple of years. Yeah,
she's terrific, and her husband
fantastic.
Pete and their boys, they're lovely family.
Oh, yeah.
We're blessed with great neighbors in my neighborhood. But can you tell a little story in case people are interested, or if there's an interest that you could join or something like that? Do a little plug.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the Foxborough Cultural Council is among I think it's 354 local arts culture councils in the state of Massachusetts. We receive funding that actually comes right out of the Massachusetts lottery, so buy those lottery tickets. That gets allocated to different cultural councils within the state, and then that money is then granted to arts organizations. So the theater companies you were mentioning, the Marilyn Rodman, all of these organizations write the Foxborough Cultural Council grant proposals for everything from plays to new electrical equipment, new stage, like all of these things. And this year, I think we received something like $25,000 requested, but the state only gives us about $9,000. And every year they give us a little bit more. The more that we spend, the more we get. And this year we were incredibly grateful for the amount of money that we were able to allocate to different places within Foxborough. But a part of this project is raising more money so that we don't have to say no to those other people, so that we can give money to the arts that want to come specifically to Foxborough. We have a bunch of criteria. One of them is local criteria. How does it actually help our local town? We find that very, very important, and it's just heartbreaking when we have to say no, that we can't do everything. So hopefully this project will help bring in some of that additional funding and create sort of a revenue from years forward.
We'll continue talking about the need for funding. I think it's important, and I'm really not being sarcastic. Like, it's really important, right?
Yes.
Jared, what about the structure of the council? How many people are on it? What type of senior management does it have? You mentioned you are co-chair. Can you give us a quick sort of overview of how many people are in it, or how many people you want to be in it? Or,
sure, yeah. I don't think that there's a cap, but we do serve at the pleasure of the select board, board of selectmen.
Yeah.
And so every time we add a new member, all you have to do is apply, write a letter of intent, and let us know that you're interested, and we go before the select board and say we'd like to have this person join the council. I think right now we have 11 people, or when I left it was about 11.
And it's a volunteer, it's not a paid or stipend position or something like that. So there we go, more of the culture, the volunteer part of Foxborough. Just every time we have these conversations or I watch these types of shows, the volunteerism here is incredible.
And those who are interested,
that's one of the things I love about this town. Even our friend who folks can't see at home, we have a volunteer helping it with the set crew and the camera work here. It's
amazing how many volunteers there are in this town, period, how many people want to be involved. And if people want to attend a meeting, they're free to the public, anyone can come.
Where do you meet? Different places?
Different places, but most of the time I think we end up reserving a room at the library. That ends up just how it is, but on the town website there's a calendar that shows where the meetings are located.
Excellent.
And they can just show up, we'd love to have you.
So hopefully we can, in post-production, put in a link to how you can find you folks at the town website, the Town of Foxborough official website, and then you can drill in there.
You don't have to be an artist. Just to be clear, it's anyone who can lend their talents and their opinions, because we're deciding, like Tiffany said, that we got $25,000 worth of grant requests, and we have to decide which ones we're going to give out and fund. And so the more voices in the room, I think, for that conversation, the better.
Absolutely.
And are you aligned with any other organizations? Like, are you partnered with the JCs or the Rotary or the Knights of Columbus or the Lions Club or anything like that? Or even our school arts departments?
We're not aligned with them, but we do have conversations with them. So, like, for example, talking about the Foxes, we did reach out to the Historical Society because it's important, and the Common, of course, is the first idea that everyone thinks of. Put a fox on the Common, and when we talked to them, they were a little bit like, no, like the Common is very sacred ground. Like, we need to really talk about that. We need to talk about how that's going to affect other people. So we don't have a direct relationship, but we all talk to each other, and everyone is essentially on the same team, which is a really beautiful thing to see in a community. That makes me feel very, very happy to live here, that everyone's talking to each other.
And this is an interesting thing. To note is this is not a commercial venture. We're not excluding our generous friends and patrons and the philanthropic donations we get from corporations around our town, which some need not even be spoken. They're so obvious, right? Well, there's big companies here in town, and sports entertainment and that sort of thing. But this isn't an advertising venue, right? You're putting these foxes where in town? I was asked to be one of the foxes, but I misunderstood what you meant. I thought I was foxy.
Oh, yeah.
But you mean the animal.
Mean the animal, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's why I declined. Okay.
Yes, yeah, that's
But
it.
so where is this going to be? Is it going to be centered somewhere, or is it going to be scattered around town? Or
Such a great question, because that's on the, we can't really envision
and when is it? When is it we want to do this?
The unveiling of the statues is going to be Founders Day.
Founders Day,
we would like
okay.
for it to
So
be Founders
folks
Day.
at home, another
thing
excellent
to do.
part of the wicked fun Founders Day.
That's right.
Right.
We don't really know exactly where locations are going to be yet. We're in the middle of a research phase right now. The Foxborough Cultural Council took a nice long walk around the common, around Foxborough, to see what are some potential locations. We took a bunch of pictures. We got out. I talked to Paige Duncan, sent me the map of the city and said, here you go find out who owns what. Where do you want to put it?
Right.
So now we have people on the council now, and that's their responsibility, is to start making those phone calls to local businesses where there's a really nice piece of an alleyway or the parking lot, that would work really well. And yeah.
Because it's a nice opportunity for it to be a beautification project
Yes.
too, I think, where, Paige and I have talked a little bit about where she specifically wants them. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
if we could put one there, and then people would want to do that alleyway over, and we get a mural, and we do,
How permanent is the final product?
So the actual statue itself will last forever and ever, but the location we are dedicating 2 years. So it is a temporary installment or exhibition.
So let's call it 5 foxes. Those 5 foxes will be, if you will, installed or planted for 2 years.
Yes.
And what type of things have you done to make sure that during the project and after long-term safety and insurance and those sorts of things is taken care of? I'm sorry for my neuroses.
No,
but
you're fine. These are great questions. There's a lot of research that goes into it.
we don't want kids climbing on them,
Yes.
or
Of course, yes. Well, and luckily we did receive the team of people who are manufacturing the fox. They're a company called Icon Poly, and they are the people who do the cows. Like they're the ones who do it, and they actually provided us with a very comprehensive report on all of the things you need to do to protect it from the weather,
as a monument,
insurance. Here's the people.
object.
Here's the questions you ask the town. Here's the process of getting this set up and solid. So one of the things they mentioned was the insurance and how do you go about doing that. And so we're in the process of figuring
So that will all
now.
be buttoned down and is
That
being
all,
handled.
yeah, that's
right.
all.
We're talking to Chris Gallagher, too, the head of the DPW. He said
He's
it'd be
terrific.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we want to make sure that it's permanent, meaning it's not going to be, no one can pick it up and walk away with
Right.
it.
How big are these things?
4 feet tall.
Okay. Will they be illuminated at night or anything like that?
There wasn't any plans to have it illuminated, no, but I like that idea.
Yeah.
Depending on the location, too. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the places I think of, there'd
Yeah.
be naturally be some light there.
Right,
So.
yeah.
But if we can, after this question, I'd like to talk about our hopes and dreams for donations, because we are going to need some money for this, and I think it's worth it. The sponsorship, could somebody say sponsor for a certain large amount of money, a substantial amount of money? A fox, like
Yes.
could Stephen Uden sponsors this fox in memory of his mother and father, or something like that, something lovely, right?
Yes.
Is that an opportunity, or has that not been drilled into yet?
No, that has, and we've had a couple people ask us, like, how much is it just if I just want to buy one out? And our total amount for a fox that we think would cover all the bases would be around $3,000.
Okay, well, that'll be interesting, and that can
Yeah.
be talked about later as well, different levels of sponsorship, which we have.
Exactly.
What about the construction or the decoration of the foxes? Do I have to bring my own paintbrush or safety gear, or can I not have a child under 5 while we're constructing the project or something like that? What kind of parameters and rules do you have for?
Well, I love that question, because that goes into the call for artists that we've announced on the town website. The call for art is, we will be delivering the fox to you as the artist. You present to us what you want your idea to be, what you want the decoration to be. We are going to ship this Fox to your home or to your studio
To your
or to your
oh, I thought you were
garage.
building them all up on the
There's-
common on a big Saturday or something like that.
No, this is this is going to take a long process for these artists are real serious artists. These people who decorate the lobsters and the pigs in Cincinnati, like this is what they do. There's a great artist who did the lobsters and the scallops, who talks about how, and she did the cows, and she mentioned how funny it was to have the Boston cows in her living room for a month. But that's what she does, and she was all about it, and yeah.
So during the design of the decoration and the execution of it at the studio and when it gets placed or installed, we're keeping it, if you will, artistic and benign, not controversial politics, not commercial logos, that sort of thing. What are these kind of going to look like? I mean,
Sure.
There's not going to be commercial. There won't be a, fast food chains most recognized symbol on it, right? I'm not even saying the place, right?
The underwriting,
although I love their fish sandwiches.
The underwriting opportunity is the sponsorship idea, right? If you want to put your name on this as something that you underwrite, then you provide us the financial support for this. But the painting and the artwork, that is your chance to shine. That is your chance to express yourself with your paint, your ideas, your colors, anything that you want. I really do think that our community knows what to do with that. Like, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the most incredible creative thoughts in this town. So that I'm not worried about. But yes, no logos, no political aspirations, no quotes like that.
Right,
But, anything to really express your feelings and thoughts. We want that.
And the application is out. So I had an artist ask me about the application, and the last 2 pages are kind of a silhouette of the fox, and you colored in the way that you envision painting it.
Upon application.
Upon
at
application,
least
so that
a sketch, if you will.
Yeah, the committee can look at it and say, I think, in my opinion, I'd want 5 pretty diverse foxes. I don't want 4 of the same and 1 different.
Right.
So just a general idea of what your design, but beyond describing it, can you show us what it might look like? And I don't think anyone's going to get mad if you're like, well, you said that piece was going to be 4 inches below on your drawing. It's really just for us to get the idea.
So the 5 foxes go out to the artists, okay, or to let's call them the studios. How long do the artists have to design, build, complete, and deliver their fox for, say, Founders Day Target, or the week before, so you have them all marshaled somewhere?
Sure.
Whatever,
I believe we're aiming for about a month, but as of now, there's no strict deadline for that. We're willing to work with artists to see what they're comfortable with. We understand that it takes a long time to come up with the thought and the supplies and things like that. We are providing a $500 stipend to each artist. That is included in this total. So the artist is not just selected with that honor, but they're also given $500 to pay for the supplies and promote their work, things like that.
Brushes or if there's sculpture going on there, some kind of ceramic or whatever.
Yes, because it costs money to produce it. So we absolutely understand that.
Wow.
And it gets weatherproofed afterward,
Yes.
right? It's meant to live outside for the next 2 years or longer. Because my hope, I think it's still the idea of the council, was that after 2 years, it might be time for some new foxes. We could maybe auction these off to support more art funding in our town.
Because then it would look great in like a restaurant or in the library.
One of the lobsters sold for $12,000 after the auction.
Do you mean like a 2-pound lobster from the restaurant? $12,000?
A blue one.
Tasty lobster.
My friend paid for dinner the other night. I didn't even look at the bill.
They have 5-foot lobsters in Plymouth, and the Plymouth Chamber of Commerce, and they did this auction, and they got $12,000 at their auction, and that all went back into the community resources. So it's a very popular venture for a lot of nonprofits, arts organizations, local towns, chambers of commerce.
Have you got bites?
Bites?
Are people already like, I want a fox, I've already got a concept?
We've had nibbles. We've had a lot of little nibbles, and everyone's really curious. I think the great thing about having this program is you're asking a lot of really great questions, and there's only so much you can put in a press release or in an email or in a Facebook post. This is allowing people to understand the numbers and the facts behind the project. People have been doing, this has been a dream for the Foxborough Council for a very long time. There's been a lot of research that's gone into this, but now we have numbers and data, and we just need the funding.
We're going to try in post-production, and I can't promise it to the people out in TV land, but to put some photographic examples of what these look like. And there'll be links or a link to the application and maybe even like the council's website. If that's not enough, who can call you to or someone else? Or like, who's the point person that if somebody's is seeing this and going, wow, that's terrific. My Girl Scout troop wants one, or whatever. Who do they call, or do they just contact the Arts Council through your communication online?
They can contact directly through the email. It's Foxborough CC. That's Foxborough without the O-U-G-H, so Foxborough. No UG. Foxborough CC @gmail.com. And I will probably be answering that email, or one of our many responsible adults.
CC at what?
CC @gmail.com.
Gmail, okay, I've heard of that,
And we do have a GoFundMe.
We do. Our GoFundMe just went live today, and that is connected directly to, I am launching a personal GoFundMe account in order to raise the additional funding.
Do we have the handle yet for the GoFundMe site if people want to donate right from their sofas watching this right now?
We don't have the handle, but we have.
Oh, I'm thinking Venmo. What am I thinking?
No,
I have two older daughters.
We're not doing
Venmo.
Venmo. We're not doing Venmo. This is a community fundraiser, so this is going as a GoFundMe. But I can provide you with that link. Yes.
And all the taxes are taken care of and all that sort of thing.
We're still cleaning up that info, but this is just a way to get that ball rolling in case people want to. It's almost like entering putting money in a little jar at the store, that type of thing. That's what
you know, it might be nice, and our producer, Jury Love, and the team here at Foxboro Cable Access, it might be nice to have another meeting with you folks, say May-ish.
Yes,
or April-ish.
Give an update.
To give a little progress update and put it on the screen and that sort of thing. See how it's coming along, or if you got a tsunami of interest and you actually had to like help people think about next year or something like that.
I will say because we first had to get permission from the select board too back in September, October, I think we met with them and presented the idea, and the Foxborough discussion on Facebook just went wild. People were very excited about the idea. We're at that point asking how they could help, and so we didn't have any of the machinations in place that we have now because we didn't know if we'd have permission from the town yet to do it. So there was all that excitement then, and we couldn't quite capture it because we had just gotten the okay. Now that we have the okay, and I should say we got a very generous grant from the Partners in Patriotism as well, which we're able to fund the prototype and the first Fox, and we're going to obviously honor them as needed. But I hope that the town still finds that excitement upon first hearing about it. I think there's this like, oh, let's make this happen. Well, now that we've said we're going to make it happen, we hope the town will come to our aid, because we do. I don't think we've talked numbers yet. It's about a $20,000 project, of which we've only raised about half.
You need to get $10,000.
$10,000 more dollars.
Like that's not it's a big ask, but it's not an unreasonable ask for a project of this size. When it's all said and done and Founders Day shines upon us, are you going to have the Foxes installed, or are you going to have them, say, through Founders Day at the field on display before they go out into the community? Because and this is selfish, I'll admit it, but I'm on the Foxborough Day of the Founders Day committee, and there's a lot of things going on that day, and we all collectively want to make everything go well, but not steal each other's thunder. And we're all sharing people's munificence or generosity, because we do need this money. But how is it going to go on Founders Day? Are you going to work with us at Founders Day? I'm sure you're welcome to come talk to us.
Yes, we want to.
Okay, great. So, when we're done, we're in about 4-minute mark before we have to wrap up. But how are you going to do that with the Foxes? Will they be installed on Founders Day, or will there be a big hoo-ha?
There's going
on
to,
Founders Day.
I think
And weather permitting, of course.
Sure, of
right?
course. This is my personal sort of envision of what I believe is going to happen. Is
Sure.
This is an exhibition. The actual event is an art walk event. So I'm under the impression they will be installed by then, and the unveiling is going to be the map of where they are, all of the promotional things that go along with it, like thank you to the Partners of Patriotism for their generous grant to have this happen, and thanking all of the people. And my hope is for it to be one of the Foxes to be in a location that can have the unveiling as a part of
good visibility,
yes.
a high visibility. So we have about 4 minutes left. Let's talk money and how we can get it. I think it's important, if I understand it, and you two splash water on me if I'm wrong, and it is water, it's not gin like I thought it was going to be. It's fine. We're not letting commercial design on the pieces. Mm-hmm. But we sure would love some corporate money. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
Elaborate.
Yes. So, like we said, Partners in Patriotism has given us
because you would be able to give visibility to the Acme Wrench Company if they gave $2,500.
Correct.
And
those are partnered sponsorships. Those are agreements. Those are
so they could get exposure either in the internet or some kind of brochure, or if you put an ad in the Reporter or whatever.
Yes, exactly. Special printed. We have our the actual event has a logo.
It's water. It's not
The event actually has a logo that's going to go on the map. It's going to become its own independently sort of thing that's a part of the town. And with that will be special thank you to these sponsors. And I think with Plymouth, they had like 88,000 of them printed up. So right there.
So are you targeting corporate sponsors as well as private individuals or even organizations?
Yes, we sent out a mailer.
Oh, you did?
We did. And it was really right around the end of December is when it got out the door. And it was really just because we didn't have a lot of money to send things out. And we didn't have a digital fundraising campaign set up yet because we weren't sure about the tax ramifications yet. So there was just a lot of sort of
paperwork.
Learning as you go. Exactly. These are all volunteers. No one really knew the answer to some of these things. So, yeah.
And first time out of the gate, that's where again, you learn from your trials, tribulations, and mistakes. We've all done that, especially in volunteer organizations. A lot of people think that volunteer organizations run perfectly, and they don't, but they run with heart and spirit.
Exactly.
Right? And best intentions. Nobody's really out there to harm anyone or screw anything up. But
that's right.
That's great. We got about a minute left. Age range and participation of the unveiling is you can bring your kids, make sure they're supervised and that sort of thing, but we're not like a babysitting organization or a drop-off care center for the afternoon.
Don't climb on the Foxes.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Get your selfie with it and get your selfie in front of it, but don't climb on the Foxes.
Will you be able to touch them?
Yes, you'll be able to touch them, and it's an interactive art piece, so absolutely.
At Northeastern University, they have a husky, a bronze husky. And during finals, you pet the nose, so it's got that shiny brass schnozola on the snout. Maybe there's something there for that, rub for good luck the snout of the fox.
I like that.
Shamrock.
Well, you know what? We're at the end. We've run out of film, so we have to replace it. But I want to thank you both. Look into your camera over there. Reintroduce yourselves. We'll start with you. And just say goodbye and thank you, and we'll be in touch to our friends in our community.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you so much. My name's Tiffany Elliott. Thank you very much, and we'll be in touch.
Jared?
And I'm Jared Craig. Thanks so much for having me, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
I'm Steve Uden. This is Around Foxborough, one of the funnest little things to do here. And I really loved having you. I'm all excited to see what fruit you bear on your first time, and I hope it's years to come with this. I think it's a really good thing. I'd like to thank our producer, Jury Love, Mike Weber, Paul, and Madam Hoyt in the back there, and everybody at Foxboro Cable Access. They really appreciate their corporate donors and the private donors that keep this going, and we hope to keep these types of shows with a nice spirit and fun to watch and interesting to watch going here. So if you can ever stop by Foxboro Cable Access, here on the, 60th floor of the Foxboro Cable Access skyscraper.
Way up here.
Right? Or it's next to Cindy's Jewelers and the Commons right here. And say hi and thank you to our friends. God bless you. Happy New Year. Thank you both very much. And thank everybody here on the staff for putting it together.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you.
David.
God bless you.
Thank
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks.